Okay, here's my sound preferences. I like a variety of different tunings, but really what gets my juices flowing, starting from the lower octaves, is in the bass. I like my bass punchy, tight, fast with a kick. I like a little bit of energy down there, maybe a little bit of warmth, but not too much into the getting into bass bleeding. It's got to have enough weight to make male vocals, make piano, cello, percussions, have the right tonality. When it comes to my mids, I do like my mids and mid clarity, but I don't like too forward a mid, so that's the upper mids I'm talking about. So keep the pinna gain down a little bit and not make it too forward a presentation. And when it comes to the highs, I do like my sparkly highs. At my age, I'm probably losing a little bit of the high frequencies. But not too much where it's sibilant and in your face. So that's what I like. Okay, Letshuoer's upcoming DX1 single dynamic driver 11 millimeter magnesium aluminum coated composite topology diaphragm dynamic driver. Now, I've always considered Letshuoer making, I know because I've had quite a few, of their IMs that have outstanding quality control. Even the cables, never had an issue whatsoever. Let me tell you a story. Now, this story is about Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And the reason I'm putting this into some context is I've put out on social media a few posts about how much I really hated the DX1. Really. It honestly sounds like, to me, where at least this one sounds like, to me, like somebody put a wet paper bag over the thing, and that's how everything came across. In fact, I wrote a full review, but I didn't include musical. Kind of didn't put songs in there for some context, and then I left it, and I let it stew. So I later went back after I wrote my first scathing notes, and I left it for a week, and then I was having self-doubts that there was something wrong with me, and because this unit's been getting really good feedback, and I was like, I don't know. So I had some self-doubt, so I went and I spent more time, and I did some track impressions, and I virtually came away with the same thoughts on that defective set. In the meantime, the fine folks from LETSHOUER, Sherry, Joseph, you guys are terrific. said to me, well, maybe that set that you have, it was a set that had circulated for some time, and I think it went to Can Jam as well. So I think it got abused to shit. It got smacked around, and I don't know what small IEM drivers sound like if they're blown. I know what big ones sound like, that's for sure. But maybe that's what those ones sound like when they launch. They still make noise, not music, in my opinion. Anyway, Letshuoer reached out and said, "Hey, listen, we trust you, we trust your ears, but that's not what other people are saying." And I was looking at what other people were saying and was like, "You bunch of frickin' shills. Like, honestly, this thing sounds like shit." Another set came. Okay, so first of all, this is the Tone Deaf Monk saying, "Letshuoer, I apologize for those earlier comments that I have made righteously, because that set sounds like shit. This set sounds awesome. Comes in this little box. These have kind of like almost a bullet style." I'm going into it now. Yeah. Okay. They don't sound like shit. I'll tell you how they sound. Okay. They have this little bullet style IM, and I've got mine on some Osla crystal tips. Sure. Okay. 2-pin cable. They got a little bit of heft to them, but they, with these ear tips, they sit nicely in my ears, and I don't feel the weight. So, I also put them on a different cable than the factory cable, which I'll talk about, which is very, very nice SPC cable. Just so I could differentiate the two and make sure. Well, it was pretty easy to tell. You just stick one in your ears and go, yeah, it's the wet paper bag one, and this is the right one. So, so that out of the way, I've eaten crow, and I'm going to go now into this. The other thing that comes with is these little puck cases that Letshuoer has come out with. Listen to this. This thing seals up nicely. Ready? It's like the best Tupperware container ever, only for your IMs or whatever else you want to store in there, smell-free. Anyway, moving on. I think this driver, now, again, indulge me a little bit, and going generalization, that from my experience and listening to a shit ton of gear, that bigger the driver in IMs, which is ass backwards to everything else, is the bigger the driver, the typically I find the less bass they do. Or I should have more say they're more or better geared or better suited to mids and highs. And in fact, this driver does that very well. And it's a very kind of mid-centric-y vocal set that sounds very good tonality-wise. It's refreshingly tuned in the sea of stuff that's coming out. I mean, I just came off a bunch of fun Vs, but fun Vs are fun Vs for only so long. And if you want a taste of something different, you should have something different in your arsenal if you're trying to get really just attached to an album that is vocal centric. I think this is the DX1 is a perfect choice. Letshuoer went in a slightly different direction with this tuning. Here's a graph, and which is, and I graphed both of these sets. They both graph very similarly, so it's just whatever. Okay, forgotten about. This is a kind of an interesting set in the fact that the bass is sub-bass elevated. You do get, when there is mid-bass hit attack, you get it. Yes, you do. Is it elevated? No. and it doesn't ever pull you away from the rest of the mids, right? 200 hertz above. This driver is well chosen, I think, by Letshuoer. It's clean, it's uncolored mid-range, unboosted upper mid-range, and kind of an unfiltered treble for a very articulate top end. Why do I say unfiltered? Or should I have said undampened dynamic driver? So you see those kind of peaks at the top end. Well, that kind of does indicate that they didn't try to hold back this one very much and allowed the driver to play to its strengths, let it roll off naturally. Over dampening sometimes kills off some of the details and the tonality, and I don't think they were going for that, and I'm glad they kind of didn't in this set. I think overall the entire frequency range is very well behaved, with a slight bass boost, which is nice. I love my bass. Not my personal happy place with tons of bass, but again, this is not this set for that, right? It's just enough to boost dynamics, which is important for me, but not color the mids. And in the dynamics, I mean, from the quiet passages to the louder passages to add excitement and emotion to the music, and it does that with the set. But the DX1 is really just, I think, all about the mids. Well, personally, I prefer a warmer, kind of lower mids and more mid bass. This driver and its tuning is, I think, very well matched. Also, I always believe that metal cabinets, metal housings, metal shells do add some kind of extra special sauce into the bass where on a graph they wouldn't show, but it just seems to bring it out a little bit more, right? And when I say mid-centric, I think that is. I mean, 80% of all the music's coming from the mid-range area, keep you engaged and with enough treble to give you a crispness up top. I did it again. Yeah, I could do that all day. Who needs a finger widget gadget thingy? I can just get one of these. Anyway, keep on track, Monk. Well, not the most area detailed single dynamic driver I have heard. I'm good with that. I love my vocals. I love my vocal details. I love the nuances that you can pick up in female vocals like Melissa Etheridge, where it's grungy and you can get that kind of feel of her voice, right? I mean, Hani Arani and the piano, you can still get the details in that. So it's not, that's what I'm talking about. But when I'm listening to, what really engaged me with this set was vocals. That's what I love about this set. In that regard, I think the DX1 rules as a very accurate mid-range in its tonality and the timbre of instruments. It does that very, very well. The National, though, okay, so I'm not going to sing. You don't want to hear me sing. The National has a very husky male voice in the baritone vocals, right? There was an accuracy, at least enough tonal weight in his vocals to put a smile on your face. Threw on some Tina Turner, and her, again, I just love listening to that kind of emotion, and she's a very emotional singer in the way she does, and it can put hairs standing up on your arms. I think that's the saying, but it did for me. Overall, I'm just going to wrap this up. I think I blabbered enough. I like it. It's unique. It's different. I'm pleased Letshuoer decided to step off the beaten path and come to the market with a slightly over $100, refreshingly clean vocal lover's dream. I think that's what I'm going to title this review as, and that's how my feelings are on the DX1. So again, I'm super happy to put out a positive review on something that I thought was going to go into the, happy it went this direction. And thank you to Letshuoer for your trust. Normally, when You get it a lot when you do a review, honestly. People go, because they don't agree with you or hear it a different way, and they go, there's something wrong with your set. No, there's not something wrong with my set. It's the way I heard it. That's my impressions, my observations. Whether you hear it differently, that's up to you. It's the first time ever where I've been pleasantly wrong. The fact that, in fact, there is something seriously wrong with that other set, and I don't know what it is, but it's possessed. Anyway, I was going to say Dr. Evil, but that would be, so Mr. Hyde, Dr. Jekyll. I hope that got correct. This is the good one, right? Lab coat and all.